All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure and an honor to work with IEFT and to meet and connect with all of you. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the presentation. So today's talk is about the benefits of earning a STEM degree in the United States. And you guys can see my screen, right? Now you can
yes, we can see your screen, and now your presentation we can see.
Perfect. Okay. So my name is Marina Tadros, and I work for the Graduate Admissions Department at Stevens Institute of Technology. So we are going to dive into, the benefits of a STEM program and how to kind of, see what's a good fit for you. So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So any program that falls under these topics makes it a STEM designated program. So it's important to understand why is STEM important or where it's going. And as you can see, in the past 20 years, and even every year, we make huge strides in the STEM world. So just a little bit of history, you see back in 2001, only Microsoft was the leading tech company at the time. And then even as the years passed in 2006, it was still, it lost its number 2 spot and went down to number 4. But jump down to 2018 and you see all of the leading companies are all different type of tech companies. You have Apple, you have Google, Microsoft, big name companies, a lot whose headquarters are here in the States. And Amazon has actually been growing a huge presence in New Jersey as well. So there's a lot of opportunity, job opportunities that are important that need the hard technical skills, but also the soft skills as well. So it truly is just a booming industry that allows for a very fruitful career. Another important thing about STEM is that it has transferable technical and management skills. And this is what I was saying about the soft skills and the hard skills that you're going to need. Yes, you're going to need the data and how to use different network, you're going to need the data, but you're also going to need to know how to take advantage of the networks on platforms where you can connect with people both digitally and socially. So again, you need the hard skills, but the soft skills with the management skills, that's going to help you continue to elevate in your career to get the director positions, the managing positions, and so on. Another important aspect about STEM designated studies is that it allows for groundbreaking and life-changing research. So, and we see, a great example of this whole pandemic with COVID-19. STEM, it works with data. So you get data, you make a decision based on that data to improve something, to get a solution, you create a design, or you design some sort of service or product to offer the people, and then it goes out for sale or, for exposure. So it's important to know how to analyze data, how to work with big data. These are all buzz terms or buzzwords that you're probably always hearing. It's what is the data telling us? How can we make things better? And we see that with COVID because, you have people looking into the symptoms and people looking into the side effects of different vaccines. And even now, we just had Pfizer and Moderna, I think they're called Moderna, coming out with a 95% success rate with their vaccines. So this was all created and we were able to reach this because of research. And it was all types of research incorporated. Another important aspect to know about STEM programs is, again, the career opportunities. So employment in STEM-related occupations is expected to grow to more than 9 million by 2022. So again, it's a constant evolving and growing market. There's always new research, there's always new data, there's always new companies that are being created and current companies that need to find new solutions and new ways to connect with people. And all this is, whether it's engineering, whether it's through math, whether it's through data analysis in business, there's different ways to do that. I'm sorry, one second. Just got to pop up on my computer. Okay. So now that we've discussed a little bit the benefits of the STEM program itself, we want to dive into how to choose the right STEM program. And this is important, especially when you are, doing your research to see what school is going to be a good fit for you. So the first thing is you need to make sure to see, does this university offer STEM designated programs? And it's very important that it's STEM designated, because that, we're going to go into it later, is what's going to allow you to have your CPT and your OPT with your visa. So your extended stay in the United States. So the first thing is, does it have STEM designated programs? What are they? And then that way you can, once you know what's available to you, you can go on to the next step and continue your research. So at Stevens, we have 3 different schools within Stevens. We have the first 2 are Schaefer School of Engineering and Science and the School of Systems and Enterprises. So these are just a few examples of some of the programs offered across the 2 schools. So you have things like all your engineering, your biomedical, civil, mechanical, computer. There's so much, and we're a huge engineering school. So there's a lot of engineering. Then you also have your cybersecurity and your computer sciences, and then your more hard sciences like physics and mathematics. So again, these are all it's a small sample of what we offer, but as you can see, it's very diverse. And again, STEM, there's so many different career opportunities and programs that fall under STEM. So it's not just engineering. There's a lot that is available to you. Now, the third school that I mentioned under Stevens is the School of Business. I'm actually also a student. I'm doing the MBA. So here we have the different programs that fall under the School of Business school. So on one side, you have the programs that lean more towards the soft skills and the leadership. So the project management, the MBA, the management, these 3 are not STEM designated programs. But if you move across the graph a little bit, everything highlighted in red are the STEM designated degrees. So it focuses more on technology and math, but you also will get a couple of classes that expose you to the management and leadership skills that you're going to need as well. So you have things like information systems, which is super popular, business intelligence analytics. It's really big on data analysis. Network management, that's more geared and tailored to people that wanted to work in, like phone lines, for example, like with Verizon, with T-Mobile, and 5G. So if that was something that you're into, that's a program you would want to consider. And then all of our finance courses, financial engineering, analytics, regular finance, or traditional finance. So if you're working with numbers, if you always dreamed of working in Wall Street, these are, again, it's totally different from just engineering. There are finance opportunities as well, which is great. So this is really one of the most important highlights of the benefits of a STEM degree, especially if you are an international applicant, and that's your CPT and your OPT. So your CPT is your curriculum practical training, and the OPT is your occupational practical training. And what this is your CPT is the internship that you're going to be pursuing in between the summer, in between your first 2 years. So it depends how long your program is. If it's that's another thing you want to look into, is to see how long you can finish your program in. Typically, most programs are 4 semesters, so 2 years. So after you complete your 1 year, you do your CPT that summer, and then you come back and complete your 2nd year until you graduate. And then you begin your OPT, which is the 3-year extended stay that you get on your visa. So you can look for jobs and start working in the US for a couple of years, and then that way you can decide, if you wanted to go back home, if you wanted to have a job and stay in the States, and then they'll be the ones to sponsor your visa. So there's a few options, but 3 years really is a good amount of time to at least stay in the States and get some work experience here. So again, it's important to know how long your program is, because if it's 1.5 years, then you only have 1 semester after your CPT to start your OPT. But it's always after completing 1 year, that is when your CPT kicks in. And then if your program is only 1 year long, then you just jump right into your OPT and your extended 3-year stay, because you're done with your studies after the 1 year. So that's the gist of it. So this is really important because this is, again, why many students always want to ensure that their degree is STEM designated, because you will not get CPT and OPT without a STEM designated program. All right. The next important thing to consider in your research is the location of your school. So Stevens, we are very lucky because we are located right across the city from New York City, which you can see here in the picture. You have the river right here. That's the Hudson River. And with a 15-minute train ride, you're right into the city right there. You have the Freedom Tower. I think that's downtown. So we've really maximized and capitalized on our strategic location being so close to the city. So we have built such a dynamic network with a lot of big companies, with a lot of people in Wall Street, with, we work with people like Schindler, with Lockheed Martin, with, I just went blank on some of the financial institutes that we work with. Oh, like Merrill Lynch and Goldman Sachs. So we've built very strong ties with them. We invite them all the time to campus for career fairs. So you get to meet with these people. And our career services department, which I'll dive into more in a second, really handholds and helps each of our students from A to Z how to prepare and meet and land these interviews, and ultimately nail it, and do an impressive job. Because I say this in every single presentation I ever give. I think equally important, if not more important, is the network you build with the school that you join. Yes, of course, the content and the skills you learn is important. That's the whole point of going to grad school. But the network that you build with your faculty, with your classmates, with the network that the school offers, ultimately, that's what's going to really set the tone for your career, because that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for you. So look and see. And, also, between New Jersey, we're located in New Jersey. And like I said, we're right across the river from New York City. But New Jersey itself also has a lot of huge major headquarters. So for example, if you wanted to dive into pharmaceutical, we have many pharmaceutical headquarters, like Bristol Myers Squibb is huge in New Jersey. Merck is another huge center here. So, it's good to be in an area that has the headquarters, or at least the facilities in the industry that you want to work in. So that's something else you want to look into. And of course, United States is so big. So you want to see like what kind of regions. And of course, a good way to start is the metropolitan regions. So, New York City, New Jersey is one good area. California is another big area. So that's, if you want to just get your feet wet with the research, I would start with the big major cities because they offer a lot. The next thing to consider is the services that are offered at the school. So, Stevens, we really do pride ourselves because we have our rankings speak for us, and also the awards we've received for the career and job matches for our international students has always been significantly high. Actually, fun fact, which I'm personally surprised about, we had a 94% job match for our students last year. And this year, with the pandemic, we've actually increased our job match 2%. So we're about 96% job matching rate. And this was in the middle of the pandemic. And I think that alone speaks volumes of how invested we are for our students, all of our graduate students, to really land their job before or shortly after their graduation. So it really is a testament to the quality of education, especially because we always had online learning. But at one point we had to completely transition to completely online for a bit. Now we're open on campus. But again, it just shows you how important it is to build your network and also offer a good value education. So in regards to services, one of the most important services is the Career Services Center. So, and we offer that at Stevens. It's highly ranked. We have our General Career Services Center, and also the School of Business has their own specific one as well. So everyone is going to have great access to the tools, resources, and people to assist them. And as I said before, they really help you, with your resume, with how to dress, with understanding the culture of the companies that you're interviewing for. So really just to help you assimilate and be fully prepared for these interviews. And please know that at Stevens, at the graduate level, we have about 60 to 70% international students. So the majority of our students are coming from all different parts of the world. So our forte and our specialty really is ensuring that our international students are getting these jobs and taking advantage of their CPT and OPT time, at least here in the States. So the career services is one thing you want to look into. Another important service is your graduate student life department. These are the people that do all the fun stuff. So they, plan the trips, they help with housing, they are the student life. So anything that's your day-to-day lifestyle outside of your academics, they're the ones that assist you. And it's important to see what they have to offer because, when you are moving from from a long distance, like Turkey, for example, you need to feel comfortable. You need to feel like you have a home, a community of some sort at your new school at Stevens. And we have so many different clubs that are available, both academics and social. And it's important for us to give you a well-balanced academic and social life as well, because, that's the way it should be. You need to assimilate and be able to have things to look forward to while you're studying, and just kind of build a very dynamic and fruitful, graduate educational experience. So graduate student life is another service you want to look into. And then other services that you're going to be in contact with a lot is what we call the ISSS office, the International Student Scholars and Services Office. They're the ones that work closely with you in distributing your I-20 and your visas, and they help you with making sure your paperwork is in order for your OPT and your CPT. So, this is another department that you want to connect with when you are applying for your schools, because they're a huge part in your transition moving into the States. So these are three kind of major services that are offered at schools that you want to look into and just see what they have to offer, because they're each going to magnificently impact your transition and your total experience at school. Another thing to consider in your research is the infrastructure. So these are things like the labs, the facilities, and this is important, especially because, STEM designated schools most likely are research-based schools. So you want to see, like, where are you going to be doing your research? Who's doing the research? What kind of, tools and resources are they using? Are they up to date? Are they futuristic? Are they, advancing? All of these types of things are important, especially if you want to do like a thesis and take on some sort of research under a faculty and have them as your mentor. So for example, at Stevens, we have 2 Hanlon labs. These are 2 financial labs, and it is so cool. I wish I could show you guys in person right now, but one of the labs is designed like Wall Street, where you have the ticker on top. You have dozens of Bloomberg terminals, so you get to use that and get the certification that says you know how to use a Bloomberg terminal, especially if this is something that you are, if you wanted to focus in finance, this is something that you would be using more frequently. So, again, it's good to see what kind of, essentially the infrastructure, the machines, the tools that are available to you, because that's going to be, again, a huge part in your learning experience. So that's another thing to consider. Lastly, I just wanted to share a few testimonies from our Stevens alumni who graduated with STEM degrees and how it impacted them. So first we have Andres Contreras, and he had moved from Venezuela. He used to actually work also for the graduate admissions office. And we asked them 2 questions. We said, why did you choose a STEM program for your graduate studies? He said that it's an opportunity to focus on what you really like after what you've put in practice in your undergraduate education and matured professionally. So, and that's the special thing about graduate education, is that this is something, you're choosing this because you want to. You like this, you see yourself in this career, you see yourself growing in this and, capitalizing on your skill sets. So it's good to, be in control of your future when you're picking your graduate degree. And then we asked, how has a STEM program helped improve your career outcomes? And he said, I was able to pursue opportunities within my graduate program's field with confidence and proof of my investment in this new career path. And again, this is so important because now you're specializing in the skills that you want to have to pursue your dream career. Another person is Thushara Elizabeth Tom, and she studied business intelligence analytics more recently, back in 2018. She said that STEM allowed her to work with new technologies and learn how to use them to analyze data. This is really important because in a lot, in many of the classes, you're going to be exposed to different softwares. So you have things like Python, R, SAS, Tableau. These are all different examples of things of different softwares, I guess, that you're going to be using and learning. And these are all data analysis tools. I mentioned before that I'm an MBA student, and two of the programs that I never knew how to use that I did learn was SAS and Tableau. And Tableau is actually very cool. It's really, it's just so much fun, like creating images and like inserting the data, and then it's just another level of really like seeing the data that you processed and putting it into life and into a presentation and being able to share that with other people and other companies. It really does give you a sense of pride. So I digress, but the second question we asked was, how has it improved your career outcomes? She said, I was able to showcase my skill set and versatility in using various programming languages and technologies, and this gave me the advantage while applying for roles. So again, having these like software skills and different data analysis tools is going to automatically give you an edge. Even if the companies don't use SAS, for example, you have the skills to figure it out and to learn and to adapt quickly. So again, it's just as important. And lastly, this is Brian. He also used to work with us. He recently graduated in May 2020. He got a job right away in the middle of the pandemic, helping us increase our 2 more percent in our job matching rate. So he said that he's a lover of fixing things, a lover of building things, and a lover of solving problems. And STEM helped him find the roots of problems and allow him to build and create a solution. And again, it really ties back to the very first thing we said about STEM is about like research and data and creating a design and then offering a solution to the world. And he said that STEM has improved his problem-solving skills. My classes and projects exposed me to learn and gain different types of critical thinking skill sets. The hands-on experience was also instrumental in learning and applying those experiences at work. So not only you're not going to be just waiting on your CPT for the experience, but in the classes themselves, at least at Stevens, we offer industry projects. So you're working with real-time companies with their real-time data and processing that and presenting to them. There was one course that I did called Marketing Analytics, and we had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. It was such a great experience. We worked with a huge grocery store chain that's in the US, and they gave us their data. We ran it through SAS, and we had to tell them, okay, this product is not making you money. You should consider discontinuing it. This should go on discount. This should be more popular, and you should advertise this more. And it was just, again, it was a very awesome experience to be able to like read and understand the data and create a business plan for people. So, and this is just in one course. I mean, there's all the other courses are going to offer substantial experience for you. So in a nutshell, the sky truly is a limit with STEM, especially because you are getting both the technical and the leadership skills that you're going to need to excel. And this is there are future in-demand careers for this. This is going to continuously grow. So there's always going to be an opportunity in STEM for you. And ultimately, it makes sense to pursue a versatile degree that will allow you to choose between employers and industries. When you make yourself competitive by gaining important technical skills and obtaining the management and leadership skills, it gives you the advantage to choose between companies. And that is very important because you don't want to settle. You know that you are brilliant and that you have the skills that are needed, and you need to take advantage of that and really leverage that for yourself so that you can pick at ease, something that you like, and that you want to design your career path as. And lastly, another important thing is to always check the upcoming events for the schools that you're applying for. So for example, I just put in the link for Stevens and our events website. So especially now with COVID, of course, we've all moved to online and everything is virtual. So, there is an advantage where you can access so many more people so much more quickly. So, connect with the faculty, connect with the admissions department, ask your questions, follow-ups and emails, go to the open houses. These are great resources and ways to get the information that you really need, especially for STEM, because it's going to be, you want to see what research and what projects, the faculty are working on. So you want to make sure that you are connecting. And lastly, you also want to make sure that you are connecting with social media as well. This is a great way to connect with any school, to connect with Stevens, all across the board. So this is another great way to just get introduced with the school and ask questions as well. And with that, I'm going to leave my email and the general email. Amanda is my associate director. She was not able to join us today, but she'd also be more than happy to connect with you. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen. Let's see if I can do this. And we'll dive into your questions. Okay. Okay. So again, thank you guys so much for your time. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the questions I see here. So scroll down. Okay, so here we go. So the first question is, I've been in New Jersey and know your campus. It's a lovely university. Thank you. I'm sure. Oh, thank you so much. I think you guys really, well, we actually do have quite a huge Turkish population in each at Stevens. Many pursue PhDs. So I personally think some of our best students come from Turkey. So, the good thing is we can always connect you to someone who is in your shoes, that's moved from Turkey, that speaks your language, that had to assimilate. So, and that's something you want to always do, is if, ask. It's okay to ask, do you have any Turkish alumni that I can connect with? And schools would be more than happy to do that. At Stevens, we pride ourselves on our international alumni. So, I'd be more than happy to try to find someone and connect you with someone. Okay, next question. So even if I have a high GPA and GRE scores as well, and a strong statement of purpose, if I don't have enough research experience, am I eligible to be admitted into biomedical engineering PhD program? Very good question. So, okay, good. I'm glad that you need to be competitive. So you need to have a competitive GRE and GMAT, and GPA, of course. So if you don't have enough research experience, it's still worth a shot. You do want to make sure that you reflect in your statement of purpose why you want to pursue something, like, for example, why you want to pursue biomedical engineering, and how that plays a role with the experiences that you do have, even if it's not so heavily research-based. So I wouldn't be discouraged from applying, but I would just encourage you to make sure that the statement of purpose reflects strongly, clearly, and concisely why you want to pursue this and how, what it is that you want to do with it, so that the faculty or the reviewers can understand that you do have a plan, that it's not just like, oh, I want to do a PhD. So you want to make sure that you express that to them, like really the plan you want to have with this PhD. Okay, do you offer data analytics or a related master's program? And what are the requirements, for example, like with the GRE? Great question. Yes, we do offer, we have data science, a master's in data science. And we also have a lot of analytically based programs. So you have business intelligence analytics. You have, again, information systems is another analytically based master's program. So yeah, these are all available to you. It kind of just depends what it is that you want to do exactly, just to see which program curriculum is up your alley. So I would take a look at that. That's my mom. And so for the GRE, we don't have a minimum score, but we don't have a requirement of a minimum score, but we do like to see a 300 or higher. So again, you want to make yourself as competitive as possible. So you don't want to score for 300. You want to score much higher than that, especially for the STEM programs. They do want to see a very healthy quantitative score. So, you know, this is going to allow you not only the opportunity to get enrolled in the program, but also to get a scholarship. So, yeah, there's no minimum requirement for GRE, but we like to see a 300 or higher at least. But again, you want to score much higher than a 300. But I will say the required scores we do request is in the English language exams. So the TOEFL has to be 74 or higher, IELTS is 6 or higher, and now we accept Duolingo, which is an exam you can take online at home, so it's much easier, and that is 100 or higher requirement. Okay. The next question. When we apply for a master's, do we apply for a departmental scholarship and do not pay full tuition? Okay. All right, perfect. So the GRE requirement, we said there's no requirement. It's a minimum. We like to see 300 or higher. IELTS is a required minimum of 6. Now, in regards to your question about the scholarship, so the good thing is there's no separate application. Once you submit your application, you're automatically reviewed for a scholarship. So that's why, again, all of your materials that you're submitting need to make sure that they are as competitive as possible, because you're going to be reviewed automatically for that scholarship. Now, our scholarships do not cover tuition fully. It is a partial merit-based scholarship. So if you do get a scholarship, it ranges between covering 20 to 30% of your tuition. So it's still substantial enough, but no, it's not very common that graduate school is fully covered by a scholarship. Of course, the PhD programs is a different story. Those are typically fully funded. They give you a stipend. There's a lot more different benefits to it because you're doing research. But at the master's level, it's 20 to 30% scholarship award. Next, is there an equivalent master's program for molecular biology, or genetics? And can you give details about the application requirements? Okay. So we have, from what I can think of at the top of my head, we do offer chemical biology. So it really, again, the question always boils down to what it is that you want to do for your career. So we do have ChemBio, so that's a good program just to, you know, check out on our website, see if that's something that you would like to do. And then I'm sure that there's different electives or courses that you can take that might specialize in something like genetics, but I would have to look into more options for you other than ChemBio. And so other requirements for the application. So we know for fall 2021 and spring 21, if you feel like you can get all your paperwork in on time, we have made the GRE optional. So at the master's level, the GRE is optional. PhD, you still have to take your GRE or GMAT. And so there's that. There's your 2 letters of recommendations. There's a resume that's optional. It's always good to include your resume, I think, just to showcase your experience. Your statement of purpose, and of course your transcripts. So, you know, if you are still in school and this is your last semester, you're finishing up, you know, take advantage of the time you have left to, you know, boost up your GPA as much as possible because your grades are important. They are, so you need to make sure those are in good condition. It's not the sole determining factor, but again, it's just you want to make sure you're showcasing your academics in the best light as possible. You know, and again, don't be discouraged if your GPA is on the lower side. You know, even though the GRE is optional, I do encourage all the students to take it because this is going to help, you know, even out a lower GPA. You know, if you do score well in your GRE, that's going to be a huge boost for you. So you're not like, so that you don't feel like limited, oh, because I didn't do well in one area and I graduated, like you can't fix a GPA after you've graduated, but you can make up for it somehow, you know, with a GRE, for example. So, you know, just to put it into perspective. And then, of course, the English language courses, which we discussed. So the admission requirements for mechanical engineering. So the requirements are the same all across the board. So everything that I just mentioned, you're going to need it, whether it's mechanical engineering, whether it's an analytics MBA, which is a STEM designated program, by the way. It's going to be the same. So it's nice, streamlined, and easy for everybody. And the optional GRE is the same across all the master's programs. Okay. Oh, perfect. Faiza. So yeah, if your GPA is on a lower end, taking the exam will help certainly make up for that. Are there any possibilities for an internship? Absolutely. Especially with your CPT, there's definitely internship opportunities through there. So you just want to make sure you're ahead of the game. So when you come, you're enrolled, you join Stevens, you're on campus, and everything is set. Like, it's never too early to look into internship opportunities. Ask around, ask your academic advisors, ask your connect with the career services. They're the ones that are going to tell you what's available, how to apply, and what to expect. Again, with the CPT internship, you need to be in the States for 2 semesters, so you won't be able to really start it until a year later, but it never hurts to start your research early so that you're not doing things last minute and missing out on opportunities down the line. Okay, great. Do we offer 1-year master's programs? Okay, so most of our programs are 2 years. So you can complete them in 3 semesters if you wanted to. It's really, really difficult. No, we don't offer 1 year. We do offer graduate certificates, which you can complete in 1 year. But if you're looking to do masters, you're looking at least 3 semesters because as a full-time student, you're only allowed between 9 to 12 credits, 12 being the maximum. So that's 4 courses. So yeah, you won't be able, and if something is 30 credits, like, you can only take 12, and then the remaining 6 the 3rd semester. So yeah, no 1 years, unfortunately. I wouldn't even recommend doing a big program with at least 30 credits in 1 year. It's very difficult, but you can complete it in 3 semesters if you want to chop down the time a little bit. All right. Do you offer sessional English for short term, like 2 to 3 months, if we cannot reach the required English level? So you have to, for the application, you do have to meet the minimum requirements. So if you don't meet it, we won't review your application. You need to have the minimum scores, but it's very doable. I wouldn't be discouraged from that. And then depending on what you get on your English language scores, there's different brackets. So if you score in the highest bracket, then you don't have to take a test or do anything. If you score in a lower bracket, you have to take the Stevens English test upon arrival. And if you score in like the lowest bracket, like a 74 of the minimum or like a little bit higher, like an 81 or something like that, then you have to take an English course on campus along with the test. So I'm sure you'll do fine on it. It just depends on what your score is and where your score falls into what bracket, and that's going to determine if you need any additional English resources as part of your curriculum when you come to Stevens. Marhaba to you too.
Yes, this one is Turkish. So the Shebnam is asking about, do you offer master and PhD programs for mathematics?
We do, yes. For mathematics, we offer it in both. So that's available to you. So in the PhD program, I mean, our PhD programs are very good. They're very competitive. So, just keep that in mind. But I do encourage you to apply to PhD if that's what you're looking to do. What program is most popular for Turkish students? That's a good question. I would have to look into our data to see, but I mean, I know overall a lot of our Turkish students do come like for the STEM. I do see a lot that stick into the sciences. So I see a lot that go into physics, that go into chem bio actually. So those are, and I mentioned this before, but a lot of our Turkish students go into the PhD programs. So, it's just something to keep in mind. Do we have scholarships? Yes, as I mentioned. Once you apply, you're automatically reviewed for it. How are the living expenses in New Jersey? Are they cheaper than New York? Yes, so thank God New Jersey is much cheaper than New York. But so Hoboken, the city that we're in, is very close to the city. So Hoboken itself is kind of New York pricing. It is expensive, but the neighboring cities, which is like 10 minutes away from campus, is much cheaper. So it's easier when you have roommates, the rent is cheaper, so it's much more affordable. So you just want to look in the neighboring cities next to Hoboken that are close by for the options. Okay, and so another question about the GPA. Again, it's okay if it's on the lower side. You can always make up with it for the GRE. Okay, so this is a good financial question. So if you don't get a scholarship, can you get a job? Yes, we do offer student employment. We offer a lot of opportunities. Now, please understand that the student employment isn't something that's going to substantially cover like tuition costs, but it is going to allow you to make an extra $3,000 to $4,000 a semester. So it's good for spending money just to have some sort of income while you are studying. That's one opportunity. Of course, if there's loan opportunities that can come or any grants that can come from Turkey, these are other options as well. So don't be discouraged if you don't get a scholarship. There are job opportunities available, at least here, that can, help you earn some sort of income while you're here. Is it possible to transfer from a Turkish university? So you can certainly submit, and yes, you can. We just have to evaluate, your courses and your credits to see what we can do to transfer. And typically, the most we can transfer is 9 credits, which is typically 3 courses. But this is on a case-by-case evaluation. So if you're looking to transfer, you would just connect with me, for example, at the admissions office, so that I can connect with the reviewers and let them know, that you want to transfer and see how many of your credits can be transferred. And it's typically up to 9 credits, so about 3 courses. But it's case by case. Okay, and the last question here is the career opportunities in the US for international students. They are good. I am happy to report, like I said, that we had an increase in our international students landing jobs during the pandemic. So, as you guys know, we did have a change, or we are going to have a change in administration with our presidency. So I think overall, there's always been a lot to look forward to in the US, and we continue to be positive that we will continue to have a lot of good opportunities. And again, I think that CPT, the OPT allow you to take advantage of that to really build and find a career here in the States. So yeah, there is, and again, we've been working with international students so closely for decades. So we know what our international students need to get a job here in the States. So that's something that we're proud of. Oh, okay. So we have another question. Is it compulsory to take the SAT and the ACT? I would have to double check with the undergraduate department. I do believe it might be optional for the undergraduate level, but I would have to double check on that because I'm not too sure since I only work for the graduate department. But it is on the website, so just go on the website and just type in SAT, and they will tell you if it's optional or not. I believe it is, but just double check on the website. All right, I'm going to hop into the chat to see if there's any extra questions here. Okay. All right, I think I covered all the questions. If there's anything else that I might have missed, please let me know, type it in. I'm more than happy to do. And we still have a few more minutes.
Is it possible to share your contact details in the chat box?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So let me go to chat. So I'm going to write my full name and my email. And please feel free to email me anytime. That's the best way to get to me, honestly. And I'm pretty good with getting back within 24 hours typically. But again, please do email me if you have any questions, if you want to follow up about anything or double check something. My job is to help you and to answer your questions and to make you, aware of what your opportunities are. And of course, to get you excited for, to come to Stevens, but really just to like dive and make the investment for your career. So thank you guys so much. It's always so much fun working with all of you. You guys always ask the best questions, and it is always a pleasure. So with that, I don't think there's any more questions. So I just want to thank you all again. Thank you to the IEFT team always. And I look forward to connecting with you guys.
Thank you. You covered all questions. So, but if there are further questions, so they are able to reach you through your email address. So thank you very much for the great presentation and all information you provided. Thank you. It was very nice to welcome you at the IEFT Talks webinars.
Thank you. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.